Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rift Podcast Project. Today, on this episode, we have three guests joining us. We have Julie, Nick, and Fred.
Oh,
What's up?
Hey,
Hello, it's great having you guys here.
thank you for having us. I'm
thanks
excited.
for having us here.
They said,
So, as like what we do in this show a lot, we're just gonna jump right into the questions. So, all three of you guys, have just graduated from high school. Is that so?
We're freshmen now. I hate it.
yes,
Yep.
going from the most powerful position to the least powerful position in months.
Yeah.
Nothing
That
says
face.
a transfer of power like losing status and having to lose a ton of money.
So,
But-
yeah. So, how's that like going for you guys? Like, what's the emotions like? What are you
It's
thinking?
interesting because, in terms of the actual graduation thing itself, really, Nick, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like it was like 85 degrees that day, and I much would have preferred what we did over sitting and doing like a service for graduation. So I honestly hope they stick with that, but see.
No, I really like the drive-through. It didn't really like hit me that we were leaving until the drive-through, and I was like talking to my teachers, and I was like, oh wait, I'm like not gonna see you guys every day anymore. This is weird.
yeah, I had a similar experience. I mean, I felt the graduation sort of and the sort of fact that we were going to be leaving soon a couple days before the graduation ceremony. And by the time that I was actually in the car and seeing my teachers and just seeing all my friends 6 feet apart, it was just different. So it's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, I made the mistake of accidentally high-fiving my advisor. I did not touch anything or anyone after that. I washed it as soon as I got home. Just
So,
wasn't thinking. Just
for listeners who don't know what the drive-through you guys are talking about, can one of you explain what it is?
Yeah, I can take that. So essentially, rather than having a traditional graduation inside of like a gymnasium or auditorium, we had a graduation where essentially you would drive on a path that encircled the school, and the path would have every single, or just about every single teacher surrounding it, just cheering you on and saying like, "Oh, congratulations, you graduated, good job, now get on out of here and get your diploma." And they would give you near the very end this giant box filled with stuff. Like you'd get your yearbook, your diploma, and just a bit of other like graduation goodies and things as a way to say thank you for having a great time here at this school. Hopefully you have a good time at college too. Something along those lines. And it's just really nice because you're not trapped inside. Your parents are driving you around and you're able to just celebrate with your entire school community, even though you're supposed to be 6 feet apart or just not even outside. So yeah,
That's awesome. So, in terms of college and things like that, what do you guys think is going to look like for you guys, especially in the situation we are right now?
My school has said that they're reopening in the fall, and I'm really hoping that actually happens because I've been talking to like a lot of people that are in the same like residential program that I am, and they all seem really cool, and I really want to meet them. So, really hoping that we can open in the fall.
Yeah.
it's my school hasn't going to tell us whether or not we're going to be on campus in the fall. I think they're mid-June or mid-July. I can't really remember, but hopefully we are. I mean, coronavirus is still there, so if they do reopen, I think there's going to be like tons of like precautions and stuff. The being on campus for your first year of college is like a really critical piece for like not only college life but just life in general. So yeah, hopefully we're there.
yeah. For my school, we figured it out in an email that was sent out recently that said, "Hey guys, we're going to be reopening in the fall, but we're going to be putting in extra measures to make sure y'all are safe." So I think they're doing things where you have to make sure your dorm is extremely organized You have to make sure that you're not showing any symptoms of COVID-19. You have to make sure that you're like 6 feet apart, and a lot of the norms of college are going to be changed thanks to this whole pandemic going around. And I think it's a good idea that they're still trying to put in these measures and make sure that everyone's safe. So yeah.
Great. So, I guess moving on from like college and graduation and things like that, all three of you have a certain program that you guys have in common.
That be the stage 1 players. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So we've had numerous people part of Stage One on this show. Would you guys like to talk about what your part is in that and what you guys do?
We're
All
all
three of us
seniors,
are
so
actors.
Yep, we're the
yeah,
3 seniors, even though there are more
yeah,
seniors. But we are
we're
three.
3 of, how many is it, like 7 or 8 seniors or something? Yeah, but
All
we essentially run not run rehearsals, but we like run warm ups and stuff, and we're all actors too. So
we're all actors, and then Nick and I were co-presidents this year, which was super fun.
Yep, it was a fun experience being a co-president because I got to work with an amazing co-president, and also I was able
Aw.
to really have a good time just being a part of the whole Stage One experience.
So, what did like being co-president like? What was your responsibilities and what do you guys do?
That was a lot of like there's some I can't talk organizational stuff.
Right.
Talking with the directors and kind of being the bridge between like the cast and the directors.
Yeah, we were able to also essentially DJ and be on mic for some of the school performing arts events. So we would be doing the mic work for performing arts awards and just doing general sort of performance based stuff for when we have concerts and things.
Yeah.
And
I
at the
think we
very end,
emceed the first concert of the year.
yeah. And at the very end of the year, we had a performing arts awards night, and we were able to create a slideshow essentially detailing the accomplishments made by Stage One, and it was a lot of fun to work on. So
So, do you guys? I know with a lot of people are using like Zoom, and I think Stage One is doing something recently. Are you like part of that? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not technically like official stage 1, but I started to do these like weekly read-throughs of just different plays and musicals that you can find the scripts to
Mhm.
for fun. I keep in touch with everybody, but it's been fun. Although we tried to do Hamilton, that did not work at all because music
it was
over Zoom is
fun.
complicated.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, Nick also runs some Cards Against Humanity games every
That's
now and
true.
then.
yep.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
was
if we can
the
talk about that on here, but
yeah, we can. I'm sure we can, but yeah, I was the one who established a regular sort of Stage One Cards Against Humanity. So for those people who may not know what it is, even though that could be just a sheer minority of people, so Cards Against Humanity is basically a game where it's basically focused on dark humor. And I figured that dark humor would be a good way for us theater kids to come together, since that's a sort of common ground that I've come to find that we've had in Stage One.
yeah.
And just having that interconnectedness in such a strange sense of humor, I think that's what really defines the family. And in addition, I've also was the one who established the Stage One Discord at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. And my goal with creating it was making sure the Stage One community was interconnected even during this really crazy time. And so far, with the amount of traffic that it's gotten for Stage One and the amount of people who have been coming together and organizing things just based off of it, it's amazing. So maintaining the family, even though we are all distant.
yeah, I'm also trying to start something too, like these two have. Mine isn't up yet, but hopefully it will be soon. We also have 1X coming up, so that's a thing.
That's true. I'm very excited for that. Jessica has been doing a really good job with running that, and I'm very excited to see everybody's.
Yeah, sadly I wasn't able to be a part of 1X, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys put out.
Oh, I should have gotten her to talk about that. Since I wasn't able, I had Jessica on the last episode with Sebastian, and so I guess I didn't get her to talk about it as much, to my recollection. Do you guys want to talk about what's going on with that?
So
Sure.
essentially, what 1X are short 10 to 15-minute plays that are usually like 1 or 2 scenes long, that are completely student written and student directed, and student acted as well. But yeah, it puts emphasis on the students' ability to write, direct, and act in shows that they have created. Obviously, like, you have the directors there to like help people stay organized and make sure everything's on track, but like the actual creative work that goes into it is completely 100% students. So that can often lead to some very interesting shows. Mine.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
mine's gonna be very interesting. So
I'm
Right?
excited for yours, though. I read for yours in auditions, and it was very funny.
yeah, it could offend some people. Emphasis on could.
Well, that'd be interesting to see.
Julie, you're in Jess's, right?
Jess actually wrote 2. I'm very impressed. But yeah, I'm in one I called Everything You Wanted, and it's an interesting one. It's a little bit sadder, but it's definitely a cool concept, and I'm excited to see how Jess put it together.
Cool.
I mean, I've never taken part in 1X, but I've always seen the fact that you guys are so dedicated to putting on a production like this, and even over Zoom too, because I feel like that just threw like a whole wrench into the mix. But even with these sort of uh, the sort of stuff going on, and even with the challenges that we're facing, y'all are able to come together and really put this thing in into fruition. So it's crazy, but the fact that you guys are putting out such like high quality, high production, and well written 1X, I think it should just serve as an inspiration to people that even in the most troubling of times, the things you love are still going to be there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. So would you like to, could you explain about how you guys do like 1X over Zoom? Because I don't think you guys are meeting in person for this.
I know we've been doing it
Yeah.
over Zoom, but so yeah, at the beginning of the process, we did auditions. So basically, all of the each set of directors or individual directors had their own breakout room, and we would just rotate the groups of actors into each room. And the directors would basically just have us read scenes from their shows, and then I don't know how the casting works because I've never directed a 1 act, which is kind of a regret of mine, but that's okay.
Mhm.
But and then once we were all cast, we got the cast list from our one of our drama teachers, and then we all kind of created our own rehearsal schedules based on each director and actor's availability, and then recorded them using the Zoom record function. And then Jessica and the other directors are all editing together. So
All right. Fun. So I guess,
definitely different.
yeah, definitely different from what you'd usually expect. So I guess moving on to the next topics. On the show, we like to throw in some random topics for the mix. So I think it was Julie who mentioned earlier, I think before the recording session, that you played a certain game.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've been obsessed with Animal Crossing. One of my friends told me that it was coming out on the Switch, and I didn't really think I would get it. Then this whole pandemic started, and I was like, I need some entertainment. So I got a Switch, and I got the game, and I play it every day, and I kind of need help, but it's okay.
So do you want to like talk about what Animal Crossing is and like what you do in the game?
Sure. So basically you go to this like island and you have some villagers and some like other little characters to help you out and just kind of like on the island and you can like collect fruits and different like animals and stuff for your museum and you can like talk to your villagers. It's a very cutesy, like relaxing game and it's just fun to like I don't know, just like go around and talk to the little villagers and they're also cute. I don't know. It's a fun game.
Yeah, sure. Any other games you guys are like interested in play?
Yeah, I mean, ever since this whole pandemic started, I've been getting back into Minecraft. It's been
Oh
a
Oh my
while
gosh,
yeah,
me
since I
too.
played that
sure.
game,
Yeah.
but I've been just going ham on creative mode, working on building up large structures and stuff whenever I have downtime. Or if I ever just feel like it, I go into survival, play the world for a couple of days, and then it gets to a point. And I don't know if any of y'all have played Minecraft and felt this, but when you're playing survival for a time, you reach a certain point and you're like, oh, I've done a lot here, but I missed the excitement of earlier. So you make a
I
new
feel that.
world and it
Yeah.
just goes in a sort of like cycle. It's like I've achieved so much, but I want to go back and start over. So it's
Yeah.
like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Fred's mic is working.
Oh, that is
To break up the conversation, but
That's an
fun.
strange predicament.
All right. So we're gonna have to figure something about that. So I guess we're gonna pause the episode for a quick second, and we'll be back in a bit. And we're back. All right. So topic we were on was I think Nick was talking about Minecraft.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
talking about Minecraft.
All right. So you want to continue
Minecraft's
talking about
good.
that, or do you
Minecraft's
have
good.
anything else you want to talk about?
Not gonna lie, because so when this first started and I was really missing school and especially like performing, I literally started a creative world and I tried to build our auditorium. It didn't work
Oh,
very well.
I did the same thing. I tried to build the Globe Theater.
Oh
Didn't
my
work.
gosh.
wow.
You can't see anything.
I was
Anything
just
above
trying to
3
build
feet.
a house. What do y'all have so much free time for?
I was gonna say it doesn't look good, but it's there. Like it's the same structure. I don't know.
You'll need to share the world with us because I would love to see this.
Yeah.
Yo, you guys should.
Again, I'm telling you, stage 1 Minecraft server.
Oh my gosh.
Pushing this since like beginning of the Discord. Anyway.
That would be just so chaotic.
You should do your thing with me and my homies. So I have like a Minecraft server, and I loaded up a map which is called like Race for the Wool. I don't know if you
Mhm.
know about that, but basically what it is that you have two teams. I got some friends together, and we made teams. And how it works is that the world is split. So there are two islands, basically, like two rectangular islands, like long ways, which are identical to each other, and they're about, I'd say, about 15 feet across from each other, and it's in the sky, and basically two teams get put on each island, and you're trying to race for the wool, basically. So there are basically chests hidden out throughout the islands with wool in the chest, and then there's like a monument at the beginning. So you're trying to get through the island. There's traps, monsters, and stuff. You also get shot by your opposite team, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Very competitive side of people came out. It was pretty funny, to be honest.
Nice.
Sounds so chaotic.
My
Like
cousin.
I kept sniping one of my friends over. It was Chris from, if the listeners want to know, from the first episode, episode 1.5. He got so mad at me because I kept sniping him every single time he loaded onto the map, onto the island, and he was just not able to go anywhere.
My cousins actually create something very similar where it's in the sky again, but it's sort of like a maze, except it's a bunch of roads, but it's 1 block wide, so you can't really pass each other. But essentially, what you do is you set your bed as your spawn point, and your goal is to one, destroy the other players' beds, and then knock them off the board, which is in the sky. So if you fall,
So
you
it's like
die.
capture the
Yeah.
flag.
Kind of, yeah.
That sounds like a lot of
This
fun.
is why I play games like Animal Crossing and I stay in creative mode because I'm horrible at any kind of like video game competition. Like I just downloaded Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and because my
That's
friend told me
fun.
to.
It's
I
good.
I have died so many
Oh.
times. I'm very bad at it. I only just got off the Great Plateau. It's a lot. I am very bad at it.
This is a
Yeah,
great
sadly, they don't
one.
have Newsies, the video game.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally wearing a Newsy sweatshirt right now. Leave me alone.
For those of
Oh,
you who don't
wow.
know, Julie was in Newsies.
Oh, can we tell? Okay.
But going back to the video game thing, actually in the because for those of you who don't know, I'm a motorsport fan. Since coronavirus, sports, including motorsports, have not been able to like do races or do events and stuff. So racing video games have gotten accurate enough now to where they can simulate real life. So they continue to do races, but they do them on video games, which is
So sick.
that's cool. Yeah.
Oh.
Honestly, esports is kind of booming now because like
Mhm.
you can still because they're video games and you can play video games online. You don't have to be in person. So
You remember back in like the 90s when people would always joke about my dream is to one day play video games for a living. Well, now you can.
yeah, now you can.
You have
You
people
can.
like Ninja who are on Twitch, or not on Twitch, he's on Mixer now.
Yeah, he's
But
on Mixer
people
now.
who like stream video games now and just make bank. Like y'all
Yeah.
remember that one kid? I think he was like 16, and he made $1 million off of Fortnite tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about
That
that.
was all
I
over the.
absolutely
I don't know
despise
how to
Fortnite.
feel about that because that kid has probably earned more than like some people's parents have, and all he did was just get some kills at
Fortnite.
Tilted Towers.
Well, at least I don't know about that kid, but like in general for like professional like gamers or professional esports players, I feel like they get a lot of like bad rep because they're just playing a video game or competitive. But it's actually like I've like read up about it and it's actually really interesting that like their like career can actually be like kind of tough because in terms of like the video game, first of all, they're practicing every day in like front of the computer, and obviously
Right.
that much can be pretty straining. And so those players actually have to be like pretty physically fit and mentally fit to be able to like cope up in terms of that sort of thing. And especially
Different type of strain.
yeah, and also especially like in terms of like it's a sport, so obviously they have their job is like to compete and they have to like show results because if they're not practicing hard enough, they're not going to be performing well enough and they're going to get like benched and stuff. And that's
Yeah,
like their income is like getting wins at tournaments. So
yeah.
it's
One of the
definitely
things that like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of streamers actually who like do these things and play competitively, like whether it's people like XQC who play Overwatch or people like I think
Shroud used to use
Pokimane and a
CPO.
couple others who do like League and people like Shroud, like you said, or people like Ninja. One of the things that's really common with them is like mental health problems because they're just so devoted to streaming and they're so
Yeah,
focused on like maintaining a schedule and doing the practice like you said. And I feel like a lot of people don't take their stuff
that into
seriously.
consideration. Yeah,
It's terrible because like these people are more than just the personalities that they have on a screen, and their
yeah.
problems are just being like minimized because like, oh, you make money playing League or you make money playing Overwatch or Fortnite or TF2. And yeah, it's just tough, and I feel like that's sort of what dissuades people from like getting into streaming because of like having to have a consistent schedule and stuff.
Yeah, because I think I was listening to Shroud, and Shroud was talking about how he was like he played professional Counter Strike, and he was just saying at like the end before he retired was just that like people are thinking, oh, they're just having fun playing games all day long, but like the game was eventually just not becoming fun anymore for him, and he was like he wasn't performing as well as he had once done, and that was giving him a lot of backlash, especially in the community and things like that, and that was definitely impacting him. So it's
And
the
there
other
is one
side
more
of
thing that I was
gaming.
noticing. It's like internet personalities are also put under such high scrutiny
Yeah.
for the things that they do. Like, I don't know if you heard about like the Joji is over party.
No.
So basically, for people who don't know, Joji is like a musical artist, and he used to have this internet persona known as Filthy Frank,
Yeah.
where he made content that was essentially, it was supposed to be like offensive, but the purpose of it was to demonstrate like what a type of person should not be. And
Yeah.
people found that, like, just recently learned that correlation, but they didn't realize that his Filthy Frank persona was a joke. Like, it was all for comedy. It wasn't even serious, and people tried to cancel him for it.
Damn.
And it just goes to say that, like, nowadays, because everything's out there on the internet, if you say one wrong thing, you could just have your career ended. Like, I think
Yeah.
there was also a FaZe player who ended up having like a breakdown, and he got kicked from FaZe because he was dealing with some really tough mental health stuff, and he ended up just snapping. And it's harsh. You have so
Yeah.
much pressure on you. You're walking on eggshells whenever you stream.
Especially like even for esports teams, I know like a lot of teams have like professional therapists that are part of their organizations to help their players. It's a different side to like the sort of industry that a lot of people don't usually see, especially when they talk about it. So I guess moving on to another topic. I think one of the topics we were thinking about is music and like types of music you guys are interested in, like what you guys are listening to, things like that.
I have a weird mix of music interests because, like, obviously I listen to a lot of Broadway stuff and show tunes. Then I also like a lot of the classics like Queen and Elton John but then I also listen to like Jukebox the Ghost in 1975. It's a really weird mix, but like I don't know. Music is music, and if I like it, I like it. That's kind of my attitude towards it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like it if it's good. Doesn't matter what genre, doesn't matter whatever. If it's good, it's good. The end. The only music genre that like I just don't like is country.
Too.
I don't enjoy listening to rap, but like I appreciate it as an art form.
Yeah.
Like, I get that it's like somebody else's way of expressing. Like I don't necessarily enjoy it, but like I respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I like listening to a variety of music genres. I share the same mentality, excuse me, as Julie and Fred, that if it's something I can like, then I'm going to listen to it. So I listen to a lot of random types of music, mostly rap. So sorry, Fred. But yeah, rap is one of my favorite genres. I listen to reggaeton, which is like a really popular music genre in like Latin America, and you have artists like Ozuna and Bad Bunny who make amazing music. And I've
Yeah.
also been getting into an off branch of rap called Doom Shop and like funk music. And it's one of the biggest people who make that style of music is Freddie Dredd, and his music has been really popular on social media things like TikTok and like Instagram.
Oh, TikTok. It's a whole other topic of conversation.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
could go into details about like, oh, Charlie D'Amelio coming up, and the fact that Renegade got so popular, and all these youngsters nowadays using their TikToks and their Snapchat.
Uh, yeah.
Kids are weird, man.
It's are weird.
I will say though, I'm not glad that coronavirus happened, but at least gives our generation like something to be interviewed about in like 2085. Before this, it was like, what was it like when the iPhone 5 came out? Like now we actually have something like,
Dude,
like
you know how I'm going to like use this for like my kids? I'm literally going to say like, "Oh, Timmy, you didn't clean your room, buddy. I lived through a pandemic. What's good?"
I feel like it's going to be more like, you kids, when I was young, we had to use our legs to move around,
What are you
Yeah.
saying? I can't hear you, Herschel.
Just like
Sonny.
this pandemic's definitely going into the history books. Like
Definitely.
absolutely.
Because it's affecting everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since we're close to one of the hot spots too. which is
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Especially since we graduated while it happened, people are going to take interest in us specifically.
Dude,
That's
this chapter of our lives in like the year 2020 alone, like if 2020 had a part in a history book, it would be like an entire chapter of things that happened.
Yeah.
Like we had World War III, we had Australia catching on fire, we have coronavirus going on, and we're currently undergoing one of the just a giant amount of countrywide protests going on.
If you actually go back and look, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse have been fulfilled this year.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
it's disease, gluttony. I think I can't remember all of them, but they've all been fulfilled apparently.
Yeah, but I don't think right now we're going to be going through an apocalypse. You know why? Because I have faith in humanity at some point. It's selective, but I feel like eventually we're going to do the right thing. Like
Yeah.
right now, if even though things might not seem so hot now, I think at least in the coming years it'll get better because people ultimately turn around and are going to do the right thing at some point. Maybe not now, maybe not next year, but at some point.
Yeah.
We're already halfway through 2020, and the majority of it's been destroyed by a pandemic. So
Yeah. We're
But-
about like, what is it, like halfway through the year now?
Yeah,
It's crazy to
I'm
think
actually-
about.
time actually it feels faster the older you get. Say when you're 2, 1 year is half your life, versus when you're 70, 1 year is a 70th of your life. Most senior citizens actually say that they felt that the halfway point in their life was when they were 29. I think was what they said.
Dang.
So
Wow.
yeah.
so that's almost 10 years away from me. Great. But
Yeah.
you all can say, like, anyone can say what they want about the pandemic, but the one thing that I think it's really done is it's really just brought people closer together. You sort of realize the importance that the people in your life have. And you sort of think that, oh, I used to take for granted that I could be able to see this person and give them a hug every day. I could be able to come over to their house and be able to play video games and have like lunch with them.
Yeah.
But nowadays we can't even like go within 6 feet of a person, and it's wild. And you sort of realize that this one thing that you were able to have access to so easily is just boom, gone. Thanos snapped out of existence for a certain
Yeah.
period of time.
And it's
I'm
weird,
sorry.
like annoying things about the freshmen are clogging up the hallways and like standing in the middle and having conversations, but like now I kind of miss it. Like I'm not gonna lie.
No, I don't miss
Yeah.
that. That's like a death sentence now.
That's fair. Yeah, if you're a freshman listening to this, don't clog up the hallways. If you're gonna have a conversation, go into a classroom. Thank you. This has been a PSA. You're welcome.
Don't wear a backpack
PSA
that's
from GSA.
literally like as wide as your arm length.
All right. So I guess with that, we can close up this episode for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's been great having you guys.
Thank you for having us.
This was fun.
Before we
Thanks.
go, I just want to say hi, YouTube. I've
Oh my
always wanted
gosh.
to do that.
Hey, YouTube.
I've always wanted to do that. So yeah, hi, YouTube.
And to you listeners, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. You can see on the screen on Instagram at the Rift Podcast Project and on Twitter at Podcast Rift. Make sure to watch some of the other great episodes we've had. We've had some amazing guests, and I hope to have some many more. And thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.